Well, it appears you can't have a bad race for Eli Tomac in Monster Energy Supercross without countering it with a good race. The equal and opposite reaction. The Monster Energy Kawasaki rider found himself in a big hole after a very disappointing ride in Arlington where he fell and then faded back to 12th. He absolutely had to bounce back here at Detroit, the Triple Crown race, and he did. Let's get into the recap brought to you by the good folks at Race Tech. You know all about the gold valves. We're going to give you a set. Just check out the email link that's in the video description and get a chance to win. We'll give away a set every week. With the gold valves, you're going to get a plusher suspension system that also gives you better bottoming resistance and more traction, all designed and manufactured right in the USA. Race Tech. Well, Eli Tomac was dialed in immediately today. Whatever type of hangover you could fear that he had after a disappointing ride in Arlington, not here in Detroit. The track was awesome for him, and you could see he was all smiles as soon as the first time practice session was over. He was not only the fastest, he was absolutely loving the track, and he needed it because he did not get a good start in the first Triple Crown race. We had him 11th on lap 1, and the race is 12 minutes and a lap. So he essentially was going to have to pass one rider per minute to win it, and he was able to do that. Now, there was a big quad that Eli was doing on press day yesterday, and it got a lot of buzz when some videos of that got out in the media. Now, they took the landing of the quad out. It was just a tiny, tiny roller now. Eli jumped it anyway, and then he used that momentum to set riders up. He started on the outside of a 180 corner and sliced to the inside. He made pass after pass to get himself into podium position in race 1 tonight. And then he found Chad Reed and Justin Brayton leading. Yeah, how about that? Vet National, as Chad joked. But those two weren't able to hold off Eli. You know when he goes into beast mode, he's hard to hold back. He wins it. A better start in the second race. He goes on to win that one. But what's a Triple Crown? Well, that little bit of drama. Tomac a bad start and then an off-track excursion in the third race. That almost cost him. He was in 13th at one point and was not in the overall lead as far as points are concerned. But he was able to do what he had to do. He got to 6th. Knew from there that he was in position for the overall and held on. That's his second win of the year. The first one was in the mud at San Diego. And considering he did it with some good starts and some bad starts and over the course of 3 races, you've got to say that this was his best performance of the year yet. And he knew the pressure was on. He said in the post-race press conference, if he had another bad race like Arlington here, the points might be out of reach and the championship might have been gone. So he had to get on the podium, really needed to win. And he did just that. Now, speaking of those equal and opposite reactions, Cooper Webb, absolutely electric, amazing, incredible. Last week in Arlington, it wasn't the same Cooper Webb this time. I saw him try to put a heater lap in qualifying, and that lap only ended up 8th best. And he said they were throwing all sorts of changes at the motorcycle, and nothing was really working. It was full salvage mode for Cooper Webb for most of the day and night. But what's been bailing him out, the starts have been pretty good all season long, and they were good in all 3 main events. And in a Triple Crown, look, I understand Tomac's able to come through traffic, but for the most part, the starts are going to help you stay in front of riders. And he got better as the night went on, and he said before the third race, Webb just went back to some old settings, and that was the best we saw him ride. He won the final Triple Crown main event, and that was enough to salvage 2nd overall. So really, as they say, championships are won on your bad nights. This wasn't the dynamite Cooper Webb, but he still finished 2nd overall. And while Tomac was buried early in the 3rd main, Webb actually had the overall lead. He almost won the race still. Lots of racing yet to come this year. We get that. But a strong performance for the Red Bull KTM rider to get 2nd. Podium, are you ready for this, folks? Chad Reed. And you can't luck into it in a Triple Crown. You've got to have 3 good races, 3 good starts, and make it happen. Chad was frisky all day. Obviously, the track suited him. It's got good whoops, and that always helps him. But Chad just rode awesome also, and it's so fun to see him in the mix with these riders. Tomac, on his march through traffic in the 3rd race, even passed Reed at one point, and Reed even got him back momentarily. And Tomac is someone that said he looked up to Chad when he was a kid growing up. And here they are battling now. So that's by far a podium record for the oldest, the 36-year-old podium finisher we've ever seen. And Reed said he made a lot of changes to the bike this week. Shocker. Who knows? Maybe there's more podiums in store for him. As for the rest, subpar performances from Marvin Musquin. Really, I have to say the blitzing whoops were back this weekend, and he and Webb both seemed to struggle in them. It wasn't quite as sharp as we've seen Marvin the last couple races. His podium streak is now done. And Ken Roczen was kind of quiet as well. But it's just such an incredibly deep and exciting 450 class. Justin Brayton nearly won the first one, and then wasn't even in the top 10 in the second one. And I asked Brayton what the difference was, and he said, in my entire career, I've never seen the 450 class quite this stacked. It doesn't take much. One tiny little thing is the difference between running up front and battling to just finish 10th. We definitely saw that tonight. But if you're on the Eli Tomac train, you got to be happy. It's back on the tracks. This is going to be really exciting going to Atlanta next weekend. And if we want to talk about excitement heading into Atlanta, let's highlight the 250 class, because we got an East-West showdown coming up in Atlanta, and it could be head-to-head Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki on Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki crime, because the points leaders in both divisions, Adam Cincerillo in the West and Austin Forkner in the East, are riding some win streaks. Forkner undefeated this year, not only in main events, but he swept all 3 Triple Crowns tonight. He has been aces off the start. He has not made huge mistakes in the night shows. Practice has been pretty crazy. Austin actually said one of his goals here tonight was to be right up there with the 450 lap times. It's scary that he's looking at goals like that. But in the races, because he's getting starts, because he can ride his own laps, ride his own lines, he's been tough to catch. Jordan Smith, Chase Sexton, Justin Cooper, Mitch Oldenburg, Alex Martin, Martin Davalos, they're all trying, but we're seeing those riders have tremendous 5 and 6 rider battles for podiums while Forkner continues to stretch it out front. Credit to Smith, though, who hurt himself with his crash in the whoops last week, and he could not even do a 10-minute moto on Thursday because his wrist hurt so badly. A lot of therapy work, good taping, wrist bracing, and adrenaline got him through on the podium here along with Sexton tonight. Those guys want to beat Forkner and just get some race wins in the worst way, and now they're going to have to face Forkner and the best of the West. What a pivotal round of 250 racing it's going to be in Atlanta. And of course, it's going to be pivotal in the 450 class. It's nuts, man. I've never seen this type of change from week to week in results halfway through a 450 season ever. And I've been going to these races for so many years I don't want to tell you, because I'm probably older than you think. Hey, I'm older than Chad Reed. Nothing to be ashamed of there, right? Podium speak. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, and thanks for Race Tech for backing these videos.